Hello everyone, my name is Kyriakos
And I'm Federico.
and we are here on the POORA podcast to give you ideas for how to travel low cost.
Yeah, exactly. In this episode, we're going to give a brief introduction about what are the main topics of this podcast, to which kind of traveler stereotype this podcast is aimed to, and finally we'll give an introduction to the main argument of our discussions.
Great. In regards to that, Federico, what would be the main type of expenses a person has to cover during their trip?
I would say it depends on the person first. Like there are so many stereotype of person all around of travelers, and I would say that on a general level, the three main expenses are represented by the travel itself, the accommodation, and the food, because you cannot actually escape it from it. You cannot escape from them. They're like fixed expenses you have to consider during your trip. Do you have anything to add?
Actually, I've seen this kind of scenario happen in my daily life as trip by trip, sometimes you have to focus on your expenses and balance themselves out differently.
Mm-hmm.
For example, when I go on a leisure trip, I tend to spend less money on accommodation and more money on visiting sites, but sometimes when I need more comfort or when, for example, I'm feeling low, I do tend to spend more money on accommodation and food rather than visiting sites. But now, as we are speaking of budgeting a trip, what was that youth exchange that you were into and you came back with?
I think that there's such a great possibility for actually traveling for free, because you get reimbursement in terms of accommodation, food, and travel itself. So it's such a good chance to travel without having such a budget, and you also got to meet new people, you got new friendships. So it's a way to go if you want to enjoy the travels while staying on budget.
Yeah, and you also, through youth exchanges, I guess you get to learn something new. For example, you learned about the European Union, right?
I did actually, yeah. There's such a common theme in all the projects. You get to learn how everything works, and it's cool to get to learn it. It's something that's around us.
So, people who are currently listening to us, if you don't want to spend your entire time budgeting the trip, as we are going to say through this podcast, just stop the podcast right now and apply to your next youth exchange. It brings you closer to people from different countries. You get to learn something new, you get lifetime memories, and you get to travel for free. Your accommodation and food are paid for, and your flight tickets get reimbursed. Okay, so down to the nitty-gritty stuff of budgeting a low-cost travel. What are your advice on accommodation?
Well, my way to go is it's such a funny story. I just opened Booking.com or Airbnb or whatever it is, and I just filter from the lowest price to the highest. So I get to meet like the worst possible hotels in the first results, but with the time you manage to find something that can accommodate you at a fair price.
Yeah, such a POORA mood. Won't our listeners agree at? Yes, and adding to this, I think that a really good solution we could offer to our listeners is to use a hotel search engine such as Trivago, which searches through different sites at once and can present you with the best price.
Yeah, you're right. I think it also applies with flight. Like there are search engines like I don't know, Skyscanner, that helps you find out which is the lowest price flight without comparing it company by company. It saves you a lot of time other than money.
Mm-hmm. Now, in regards to getting a little step back to accommodation, I was actually thinking about what would be to live on a hostel. Like, what kind would that experience be?
It's not for everyone, because if you're not used to sleep with other person in the same room, it can be challenging, we could say.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult to balance between having your comfort and finding something on budget because here's a thought I have before coming here to speak on the podcast that hostels are a nice and very inexpensive way to actually stay wherever you want to and travel many more places without having to like spend your entire bank account on accommodation. But yeah, I think that the main con is that you get to sleep with other people and maybe that, you know, there are some common rules. Like you don't really own the room, you just need to like follow a strict set of things.
It's mostly a civic code, like you have to act like a human.
Yeah.
First.
I put my alarm clock really high in volume days on like 6 a.m. if I have
And
to
you're the
catch
kind
a
of
flight.
person I hate. It's a matter of compromises. It also applies, let's say, for food. Because of course you can eat to the you can take food at the supermarket every day, but you're not going to firstly enjoy the vacation because you're going to eat crap food, and secondly you don't get to taste the local dishes like as you were in a restaurant, you know.
But I really like this one feature that on Google Maps there is now the possibility to like see for each restaurant its price range, how much it would cost you on average to have a meal there. And maybe people can sort their meals through that function.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they can, and they can also filter them by the ratings of the users. And this is such a good thing to filter out all the possible tourist trap scam that happens, at least happen in your life, in your travel experience life, no?
Mm-hmm. Should we tell them the secret about how to book cheap flights?
Which one?
The VPN one.
I have never tried it, man. Tell me, please.
Okay, nice to bring the secret of airlines into the discussion. Okay, so when you log into your computer and you log into your Wi-Fi network or your Ethernet connection, you have an address. How it's your posting address? You have a digital address which is called IP, and this address tells you where you live. So in that regard, when an airline knows that you come from your own country, it sometimes gives you higher prices, and what you can do is to use software that kind of changes your identity and pretend that you are coming from something else. Let's say you come from any random country and you want to like plan a trip to another country, and it gives you a very lower price than what it would originally be.
Okay, never tried it, but I will. Thank you.
Then I wanted to like discuss with you the matter of sightseeing. Like, how can people get the lowest price on sites?
I don't know. You probably have to be aware of the price. Sometimes you have to book in advance. So my suggestion is to check for the website before going to museum or attraction or whatever it is, and not to get any bad surprise once you get there.
Okay, do we have any famous last words to say to our listeners today?
Not really, but I suggest to all of you to remain tuned to our podcast in order to get all the other possible tips we can give you about trips, travel, and in a cheap way.
Because as we are moving on, we will be giving you more secrets on how to travel for less. We are the POORA team and wish you a pleasant day ahead.
Thank you.